All
Thank
right.
you.
So I will get started. Just a little intro what Leads is all about. Leads Referral Network is a business networking group, and we are branching out and doing chapters now. So we have Danny is heading up our Snohomish chapter. Yay. And
Nice.
Tiffany, our Seattle chapter, and Anthony, I have all my chapter ambassadors here this morning. Anthony, too. And Justin Weinstein is heading up the Redmond chapter. So, and we have Erin Pryor is heading up the Mill Creek chapter. So,
Well, where is she? Because she invited me to come.
oh, she's the one that invited you. Where is Erin?
She's probably making breakfast too.
Awesome. So then you would be interested in maybe working with Erin on the Mill Creek chapter. So right now we're in the building process. We have we started out Leads as just kind of one group, and then I decided to branch everybody out so we can grow and build each other in our communities. So yeah, well, welcome, Melanie. Let's do a little quick introduction with everybody. These are all my members here. And just a quick name and business and what city you're in. And then we'll have Anthony do our presentation. So excited for that. And then we'll do some speed networking. So JD, do you want to head this up?
Sure. JD Smith with J. Donovan Smith Creative. And so we help businesses get visibility. And I am in Everett, Washington.
Tiffany.
Tiffany Gobb with Edward Jones. I'm a wealth manager and I'm in Seattle.
Awesome. Danny.
I am my favorite part of my work is a hypnotherapist. I'm in Snohomish, but I do 4 other business things.
Tell us really quick.
Oh yeah, weddings, funerals, and we host and place exchange students in Airbnb.
Okay, awesome. Anthony.
Wow. Anthony Upchurch with Legal Shield and ID Shield, and I live in Marysville.
Awesome. So tell us about you, Melanie.
I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams, and I live in Smoky Point. And I service the entire Puget Sound, literally. So I sell homes from Skagit to Clallam County.
Wow.
But Snohomish, Mason, and Kitsap are my home counties. I'm transplanted to Snohomish County, and I have my family, my sphere of influence is in Kitsap and Mason County. So, and because we're both military communities here and there, it connects really well.
Oh, awesome. Great. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining us this morning. So I'm super, super, super excited to have Anthony speak because he's just awesome and super knowledgeable in his field. And just a little bit about Anthony. Anthony came to Washington through the military where he served in the Navy. While serving, he met his wife and they have raised 3 kids in Snohomish County, now residing in Marysville. Anthony was introduced to Legal Shield in 2011 while working in the insurance industry to prepare for teenage driving. He quickly saw the benefits in helping others and began sharing with his clients, friends, and loved ones. He has a servant heart, definitely. I totally agree with that. With a motivation to see others win in life. Currently, the Legal Shield has saved him over $8,500, and he's convinced that this service will help every household. Awesome. Well, welcome, Anthony, and you have the floor.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. One of the events that Legal Shield really came through for me was, excuse me, I received a letter in 2013 from the city stating that the builder that built my home had borrowed money to pay for the city to bring in services and utilities to our road. And since then, the builder had not paid on that balance, so he had an unpaid balance with the city. Letter further goes to say, due to non-compliance and no communication with the builder, that debt has transferred to the owners of that property that the lien that the money was contributed to bring those services to those residents. So I think it was $1,600. Yeah, out of nowhere. Now keep in mind, I bought the house in '97. I bought the house in '97. So at some point, somebody was like, "Hey, we got all this money out here. We need to go collect it." Well, of course, the builder's long gone now. So I don't know how long they've been trying to get in contact with the builder. But fast forward, that's not my responsibility. But I was the easier route to go to try to see how they could recoup some of their money. Little did they know that I already had the service. And so I just picked up my phone, opened my app, and I was on the phone with an attorney within 3 hours. The attorney said, forward me the letter. I'll take a look at it and see what we can do for you. The following day, I get an email showing me the letter that they were going to send out, and they needed my approval. I approved the letter because, of course, they had the letterhead of all the attorneys' names at the top. Now, pause for a second. Which letter has more impact, a letter with your name at the top or about 20 attorneys at the top? Exactly. The fact that you're nodding your head already lets me know that you can see the power of leverage that I had. And the city had no idea what was coming. So I approved the letter, sent a letter out. Within 3 days, I get an email from the city saying, "Dear Mr. Upchurch," first I was Anthony. "Dear Mr. Upchurch, we have reviewed our records and have updated your account, and it has been brought to a zero balance. If you have any other questions or need any further assistance, contact," and gave me a specific person, not customer service, not public relations. "Please contact this guy at this number." So it wasn't a 1-800 number or or email in my concerns, and somebody will get back to me within 8 to 10 business days. And it was like, if you have any other questions, thank you for your day, and enjoy the rest of your day. So I say all that to say, most of us would have first panicked. I was like, $1,600, that's one, it's my money. So I want that to go towards something that I'm either interested in or I need to take care of. This has nothing to do with me. Second, why now? Why this is just out of the blue. Like, how come this wasn't discussed? Like, hey, at closing, what's this lien on my property for? That was in the contract when I was buying the house. Those should have been disclosed at the time of purchase, because there was a balance at that time on the home in order for it to sell. So all that to say is that there's so many moving parts that make our lives work, and all it takes is for one piece to stop working for our life to come to a screeching halt. Now, $1,600, let's say I paid it. Then what? Now I either have to make up that deficit or figure out, hey, was I within my right? Because what if I went to sell the house, which has happened to several people? They go to sell their house, like, oh, by the way, how do you want to take care of this lien? It's like, I don't have a lien on my property. Actually, you do. My wife actually, fortunately, she worked for the mortgage industry at the time, and she actually found a lien, but nobody knew what the lien was. Even the real estate agent didn't know. He was like, let me see that. And he started flipping through the paperwork, and she was like, what's that? And he was like, I wasn't informed of any lien. That's what that lien was, but nobody knew what it was. So that got resolved. The other part is, how many other residents got taken advantage of? Somebody paid it. I don't know who, but I'm pretty sure somebody paid it, simply because they didn't want to deal with it, because they didn't want their life to stop. They was like, I don't have time for this. If we can do it, let's just do it and just get it out of the way. Because when you're dealing with a legal issue, 9 times out of 10, you don't know what's right and what's not. And so it's so ideal that I had the service, because all I had to do was pick up the phone and say, what are my rights in this situation? And I let a professional tell me, not Google, not my aunt, not my sister. Like, well, I had a similar situation to that, and this is kind of how it turned out. I don't know if that's going to work for you. Let me know how it turns out. How many people have heard that one? Let me know how it turns out. So now I'll know how to deal with that. We can't continue to make our like life-changing decisions on that, because when you're talking about a legal issue, how many have seen those where it starts out small and then it just morphs into something else, and now it's taking up all your time, energy, and finances to try to resolve this just so you can get back to normal and have your life moving forward. So I say all this to just to shed some light on it, just from me using the service. Even though I tell people about it, every membership has a story, just like every driver's license has a story. Everybody has a driver's license. They either had to go through some things to get to that point in order to get that driver's license, or they had to take, everybody had to take a test. You had to get your hours in. Some people had to go, take a class. But every membership has a story. Most other people that I have come in contact with that are now clients have had something directly happen to them. And it's unfortunate. Most of the time it was, I didn't do anything wrong, because that's what we think. We think, I don't need an attorney because I don't, I abide the law. I may go like 5 miles over the speed limit, but that's not enough, to warn me to pop up on somebody's radar. So regardless of the fact of whether you're doing something right or wrong, we live in a society that you have to prove your innocence. It's not like how it used to be, where it was just like, well, you need to back up your accusations right now, because we just can't go off your word. Now people can post something and it'll spread like wildfire. And now with this type of service in place, now it's causing people to pause, like, well, maybe I don't want to go down this road with you. Because we used to bluff people all the time. When people would call your house or send you a letter, like, oh, I'm just gonna call my attorney, and like call their bluff and be like, wait, hold on, Mr. Smith, calm down. We don't need to go to that point. We don't need to go to that, and we don't have an attorney. But now I do. So when I say, well, I'll just reach out to my attorney. Well, let's see if we can do another alternative. Let's see if we can find another option. And it's so good to have somebody, not just in your corner, but somebody that's that it's in their profession, that's what they do for a living. So it's not like you're going to a mechanic and saying, hey, I got this headache. You wouldn't do that. You would go to a doctor. Just like if your brakes were making a noise, you wouldn't tell your doctor at your physical exam, hey, what do you think I should do about my brakes? He's like, you should take it to a mechanic. So instead of us trying to pick and choose what situations, warrant an attorney, it's so nice to be able to pick up the phone at any given time. And I did not get a bill for that letter or for that conversation or for the time and energy and effort that attorney put into dealing with the city. I didn't get a bill for that. It was all included in my membership. Now, fast forward with the $52 trillion that are on the table right now that the government is offering, people are coming out of the woodworks with identity fraud. I got my letter last Monday actually, stating somebody has filed for unemployment in my name. Now, I haven't stopped working. I have not even went to the website, but for some reason, somebody took it upon themselves to use my information, as well as my wife's, because we both got our letters the same day. Now, this may be linked to the hack. I think it was Haitian. I think it was some Haitian group hacked into the Washington State benefits server. They hacked in and created all this fraud. But now they have access to not only my information, but potentially other people that we know, love, and trust. So this is why I share and tell stories as much as I possibly can. Because whether you're in the market or not, life is going to happen to us. That's the reason why we pay insurance. I don't know about you. I don't like paying my insurance premium. But guess what? When my car got hit, I didn't even think about that payment that I just made that month. I'm like, hey, I have a service. I am your member. I need a solution. I need to get resolved so my life can continue to keep moving forward. So a lot of times we hear about peace of mind, but you really don't understand it until you're in the thick of it and you're trying to navigate through it the best way you can. But we all know we make decisions on the information that we have in hand. If you don't have very much information, you really don't know your rights. And if you don't know your rights, you really don't have any. Melissa, how am I doing on time?
9 minutes.
Perfect. So with that being said, it's more than just calling and complaining or things like that. There's a lot of issues going on right now with the rights. Like, what are my rights as a business owner? You know, how am I protected? You know, I'm dealing with the public, and now what if somebody comes into my place of business and say, "Oh, now I'm sick." You know, I was at your place of business last, and now I'm sick. I can't work because I'm sick. So how are you gonna take care of that? You know, something as simple as that would snowball for somebody. So when you're out talking to small business owners, when you're out talking to families, and a lot of times my focus is young families, because young families is the bridge between the old school and the new school. The 40 and 50-year-olds is that bridge, because we're either taking care of parents or you know, spending more time with them because they're up in age, or we're bringing in a younger generation. So they don't understand protocols, rules of engagement. They just want to jump on a cause and be like, you know, fight for your rights. But if they don't really understand what they're fighting for, it's just a perpetual issue. They're just jumping from one campaign to the other, and there's no solution or no resolve. So with this service, we can educate all three areas and bridge that gap, so the young generation doesn't have to fight as hard as we had to get to where we are today. So my name is Anthony Upchurch, and I'm with Legal Shield.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anyone have questions for Anthony?
So I have a question. So my husband also got that unemployment fraud letter thing. And can you do the ID Shield? Is that part of Legal Shield, or can you do that separate? Is it two separate things?
Great question. Yes, you can. I picked up the phone. I was on the phone with a private investigator within 6 minutes, and they started walking me through the protocols, my options, because they are very familiar with this. It's so bad that Snohomish County Sheriff's Department posted online. And it was like, hey, these are the steps, these are the numbers. Yeah, so you know it's bad, because if dispatch is taking on a lot of issues or getting a lot of calls from this, and this is just one issue. We've heard about other data breaches like Equifax, hotels, the VA. You know, there's been a lot of data breaches, but because everybody is on high alert from COVID, you know, so everybody's like tuned in right now. So identity theft is just getting out of control. Quite honestly, it's just getting out of control, and people are responding much better than I thought they were. I thought, you know, most people, I thought, oh, I'll just wait and see what happens. People are now, you know, having a conversation like, hey, Anthony, if I get sick, I want to make sure I have my documentation in place. So they're also talking about their will. So that's the legal side, but also the identity side of it is, one thing she did was she sent a fraud alert out to all the credit bureaus, and that was why I was on the phone. And so she said, I'll also follow up. So she did a follow-up call. I want to say 2 days later, she did a follow-up call like, hey, have you received anything else? Have you heard anything else on this issue? Has anybody contacted you? And she said, okay. And then we're going to do a 3-month follow-up, because just because they haven't done anything with your identity now doesn't mean they won't do something later. So we'll just keep checking in. We'll keep checking in. We're watching this, but we'll keep checking in with you to see if you have, you know, experienced something else. So, and again, it doesn't cost me anything extra.
Great. Thank you.
Is there another question?
Little testimonial. So I got a video project, and they came back with, we want you to add something to your legal contract. And so I felt weird, because they wanted me to change something that I had in place, but it also, my business has grown from just being a graphic designer to photography, graphic design, and video. And so I signed up through Anthony with Legal Shield. And as soon as I signed up, they said you should get a response within 3 hours. It was probably maybe a half hour. A lawyer had called me and said, okay, talk to me about your situation. And so right now we're in the process of creating a contract for my three different areas of the business. So they're very responsive and great. So thank you, Anthony.
Oh, no. Thank you for trusting the service, because, you know, now that's not taking time away from you generating business for yourself and creating revenue, because you have somebody that's good in that area. Normally, you would have to, block out some time or, close up shop early. It's like, hey, I can't take any calls because I need to deal with this. Because guess what? There may be another company and it's, hey, I have a question about your contract.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so now that they know who you are and what you dealt with, now you're in a database. So it's like, okay, we've had this conversation before, or this is what we can and cannot do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's awesome. Tiffany, do you have a question? I thought I heard you now. Okay.
I do. I just want to know if Anthony knows the name of the company before it was Legal Shield.
Oh yeah, prepaid.
Yeah. So I signed on when it was prepaid 10 years ago. So
Right.
familiar with the service. So prepaid didn't go over real well as a as the name that people wanted on their car, I think. But anyway.
Right. Well, yeah, but new investors came in, revamped it. They came out with the app 3 years ago, and now they've actually ventured off into the Hispanic culture or community last year by translating everything into Spanish. And now they have their own platform to help them. One guy actually said it saved him like $3,500 on his immigration paperwork.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I didn't realize how expensive it was, but we're talking $10,000, $15,000. It's insane.